The Full Melt Show is intended for a mature audience. It contains adult themes, adult content, and sometimes adult language. Listener discretion is advised.
It's the Full Melt Show.
This is Stephen Colbert Gets All Up in Your Faith. Tonight, I get all up in spirituality and drugs. Now, I want you to know, I have no problem when it comes to pantomime. But I gotta tell you, I am on the fence when it comes to That's why I was so curious about a new church in Indianapolis, Indiana called the First Church of Cannabis. Named, of course, after the long-forgotten 13th apostle, Saint Cannabis, who fell asleep on the couch and missed the Last Supper. It's too bad. It's too bad he woke up pretty snacky. The Church of Cannabis believes that the dank Sinatra is a holy sacrament and encourages its members to toke up in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Crap. I think there's a cop outside. Flush it, flush it. It was founded by self-appointed Minister of Love and Keith Richards cosplayer, Bill Levin, who says he formed the church not just to puffer, but to test the state's new Religious Freedom Restoration Act, which offers protections against the government infringing on religious practices, making it the first test Bill has ever been involved in that did not require a urine sample. Just listen to Brother Bill testify about his spleef belief.
We believe we have the freedom to express ourselves in a natural way by celebrating life, good health, compassion, and happiness with the cannabis plant, a plant that we are instinctually drawn to as human beings because of our endocannabinol system within our own bodies.
Yes, humans have been instinctually drawn to pot since caveman times. That's why they grew their hair out, didn't shower, and those cave paintings look so good under black light. And recently, the congregation gathered for the first time, but their buzz was harshed.
The inaugural service of First Church of Cannabis kicking off in Indianapolis, Indiana. People spoke out about how marijuana helped their lives at yesterday's service, but there wasn't an ounce of the green stuff in sight.
Yes, there was no pot smoking at their religious services, but the bake sale afterwards was amazing.
Are you high? What are you talking about?
This is the Full Melt.
The Full Melt Show. A marijuana discussion about news, culture, politics, and lifestyle. FullMelt.com. Toll free. 844-420-TALK. 844-420-TALK.
And coming to you live from the PetPain.com studios in suburban Detroit, it is another edition of the Full Melt Show, where today we celebrate the RFRA in Indiana with Bill Levin and his lovely First Church of Cannabis Church. How you like them apples, Mr. Governor? Yeah, I want to see what's going on with Bill. You know, perhaps I should call Bill and find out, maybe where they're at in the stage of development on the lawsuit. I know there was a lawsuit going on. The lawsuit revolves around the idea that the police came into the First Church of Indiana and said, look, if you smoke your pot here at these First Sacraments here in this church, we're going to be hypocrites, we are. We're going to arrest you pot-smoking hippies. Whether you're church-going or not, all you church-going, pot-smoking hippies, we're taking you all to jail if you light up a single joint up in there. They didn't do that. Rather than be defendants, they chose to be prosecutors of their own charge. That fat, dopey police boy with the donut in his hand is probably a pot smoker. No, that's not what they're doing. What they're saying is, look, Mr. Policeman, you can't enforce this law because the RFRA gives us protection. You can't meddle in our church services. That's what it says. The Religious Freedom Restoration Act says that you cannot interfere with our church services. And so it would be nice to get a hold of Monsieur Levin and find out what is going on with that lawsuit. So maybe, perhaps, if I get a chance, if he's around, see if we can't ring up Bill Levin, who made the Colbert Show last night, late night, the Late Show with Stephen Colbert. Now, blessed with the big white grimace of Mr. Bill Levin. Now, there's a lot of stuff that's been happening in the cannabis world. It seems like there's an awful lot of arrests going on. I'm just saying, if you Google up marijuana news today, there's a whole host. And when I say host, I mean a giant it's an understatement. A lot of stories about people being... I'll just give you a quick rundown. I mean, you wouldn't mind that, would you? Let me just do marijuana news. I look this up frequently enough that what's it doing here now? That it's in my search history, and I just type a couple letters, and boom, it goes. So let's just see what the top 10 stories, how many of them include arrests? That's what I want to know. How many arrests in the top 10 news stories? Let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so Google, if you look it up on your smartphone, it usually gives you a list of 10. So I moved to the bottom of the page. Story number 1, Action News, ABC Action News. Michael Couch, 39, of Odessa, is accused of having marijuana in his... Okay, so it's an arrest story. The first of the top 10, it's the 10, it's number 10. Number 10, arrest. Chalk up 1 on the list. Council passes bills to stem the use of synthetic marijuana. Okay, that is not an arrest. Number 9 is a 0. So far, the count, 1-0. Number 8, legal marijuana complicating efforts to reduce fatal crashes. Okay, what is it? Where are we on here? I lost track already. Oh, what is that? So 9, 8, 10, 9. So that's number 8. 8 is also a dud. So count is 1, 2 O's. So it's 1 and 2. I guess it's 1 and 2. If we're looking at Denver police issue 7 citations for underage marijuana sales. Oh, look at that. So there's 2 for 2. All right, so 2 for 4. 2 for 4. Sorry about that. I'm horrible at stats, unless I'm reading them. Overcapacity drives, this is the number 6 story. Overcapacity drives down marijuana prices in Colorado. So we're now, 3 and 2, 3 and 2, 3 and 3? So literally half. We're at half right now. 10 things to know about recreational marijuana sales. Okay, now we're on the waning side. All these CEOs have admitted to smoking marijuana. That's okay. That's Fortune magazine, by the way. Okay, we're still on the waning scale. Oregonians can buy recreational marijuana tax-free until next year. Also not an arrest story. So we got 3 out of 10. That's not too bad. South Dakota tribe to open nation's first marijuana resort. We told you about that yesterday. These marijuana goggles are supposed to make you feel stoned. Oh, my goodness. How did I miss this story? Didn't see this story. It just came out like 7 hours ago. I do not know how I missed this story because I've been in this all day and I missed this story. So let's just dive in. The answer is, because I thought, maybe I misread it because I thought it was an arrest story. So was it 4 and 10, 3 and 10 arrests? It seems to be about the average every day, about, between, 3 and 5 of the 10 top stories about marijuana, according to Google. All about arrests. So, today is no different, I suppose. Let's delve into the number 1 story, shall we? They've tried public service announcements. They've tried board games. They've even tried emojis. Really? You've tried emojis? Now the nation's substance abuse counselors have a new weapon in their arsenal to keep teens from smoking weed. They're called marijuana goggles. Really? It's not like the beer goggles. See, when you put the beer goggles on, it's like, oh, you're sexy. You take them off and you're like, whoa, put the beer goggles back on again. I don't think weed goggles are like that. You should call them weed goggles, not marijuana goggles. It's easier to say weed goggle. New this year, the Fatal Vision marijuana simulation experience includes a set of green-tinted goggles. Oh, good Lord. Designed to stimulate the distorted processing of visual information, loss of motor coordination, and slowed decision-making and reaction time resulting from recreational marijuana use. I think it's all a farce. I can tell you as a longtime marijuana user that none of these things apply when you can't put goggles on and pretend you're stoned. If that was the case, nobody would smoke weed. Everybody would buy goggles. Just saying. This is never going to replace weed because it is not the same experience. By a mile. A mile high, I might add. So this set of green tinted goggles, you can a promotional video for the product manufactured by InnoCorp Limited promises that the users will experience the impairing effects of THC for themselves, referring to the main drug in marijuana. Educating teens about, okay, so we've had a lot of interest in our marijuana simulation experience. Oh, it is a simulation, remember? Let's see. Masturbation is also a simulation, but it's just not the same, is it, as the real thing, right? I would say masturbation is a closer simulation to sex than marijuana goggles would be to getting stoned. Seriously. I mean, think about it. If you've ever drank alcohol before as an adult, and I don't drink alcohol regularly, but obviously I've done it before and I've been buzzed or drunk before. I don't really like it, honestly. I like to have control of my faculties. I'm a bit of a control freak like that. So I overcompensate to wanting to have control of my faculties. Why would I want to have anything in my system that would impair that primary directive? You can't compare them. So could you imagine, can you put on anything that you would look through and literally have beer goggles? Could you imagine putting on some kind of visual apparatus that claims to make you feel like you're drunk? You would laugh in somebody's face. Give me a damn beer. What's that stupid SOB song? That son of a bitch, give me a drink. That's what it is. If you want to get buzzed, you got to put on the buzz, not the goggles. A high school student group in Indiana is using them as a police department, as is a police department in California. The goggles are designed to be used with a suite of other products that test whether a wearer's ability to do things like solve a maze, react to throwing ball, or red light, navigating a grid on the floor. It's all a bunch of bunk and bahooey, I tell you.
You're getting the full melt.
Got something to hide? Canalock offers discreet and effective storage solutions that destroy odor, so nobody knows. Canalock is a patented charcoal-activated bag that discreetly stores your marijuana. Canalock is made from the same material as military chemical warfare suits. Get yours at Canalock.com. Visit Canalock.com to learn more about no-smell technology.
Hey, it's Steve Green for the Sweet Leaf in Flint, because now getting safe access to medical cannabis patients in Flint, Michigan is never more welcoming. Presenting the Sweet Leaf, a brand new patient experience bringing 12 carefully selected caregivers housed in 9 separate offices to distinctly assist you with their knowledge and reputation for excellent patient care. Classes and training coming soon in the large community room. Check it out in person, 400 South Dorr Highway, or call 810-259-2571. The Sweet Leaf Center in Flint, 810-259-2571. Introducing Sacred Elements, a place for natural and alternative healing for the mind, body, and soul. Sacred Elements. It's one place, all solutions.
Registered, licensed, certified, ordained.
Sacred Elements.
Massage, hypnosis, Reiki.
Sacred Elements.
Raindrop, aroma and color therapy, body detox, ministry, life coaching, weight and nutrition counseling.
Sacred Elements. Next to the Sweet Leaf, 400 South Dorr Highway, Flint.
11 to 7 daily, closed Sunday.
Call 810-259-2570.
Young students are our future. They're eager to learn, eager to succeed, eager to make the world a better place. And they want to make it to school safely. Share the road, take care when passing, and always leave 3 feet between you and people on bikes. Bikes are legal road vehicles. We're all drivers.
Don't miss the first ever cannabis competition this year as the prize contest moves from Amsterdam to Jamaica. That's right, it's all Jamaican fun now with the Big Cup competition in Negril this November. Get your best travel accommodations now at JamaicaPot.com. Pack your beach bong and swimsuit and party down at the warm sandy beaches of Negril, Jamaica for the first ever big cannabis event this year. Do it in style or come have fun on a budget. Best travel prices now at JamaicaPot.com. That's JamaicaPot.com.
What's up with these things, Victor?
We decided to give ourselves stickers for each feature we release. We read about 10,000 suggestions a week to create features that, as traders, we'd want to use.
10,000 suggestions? Who reads all of those?
He does.
For all the confidence you need, TD Ameritrade. You got this.
It's the Full Melt Radio Show.
Radio show.
Friday from 7 until 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time is when you can reach us here at thefullmelt.com for the Full Melt Radio Show. Really, to find us on iTunes, really simple. Click and subscribe to the link at the top of the page at thefullmelt.com. Really easy to do. Cannabis, news, information, culture, lifestyle, that's what we talk about here on the program. I saw this great blog in the Huffington Post by Adam Stites, who's the founder of Mirth Provisions. It's a Washington State company that crafts cannabis-infused beverages with high-quality local ingredients. He writes this story about craft cannabis. Well, you got craft beers, right? You got craft wines. Why not craft cannabis? It is, I think, a term that legitimizes the industry, isn't it? Much like you say retail cannabis. Like you say, I've got a retail alcohol license. I've got a retail cannabis license. You don't have a pot shop license. You've got a retail cannabis license. You don't have a booze store license. You got a retail alcohol license. Call it craft cannabis, which is what the industry is, should be called craft cannabis, shouldn't it? I mean, if we can do, the article says, if we can do this for beer and coffee, why not cannabis? The marijuana edibles and drinkables marketplace in Washington State has been live for more than a year, and what a tumultuous year it's been, says the article. This is, by the way, I did say the Huffington Post, right? HuffingtonPost.com. We've seen a huge dip and swell, multiple of them, huge dips and swells in the availability of raw materials as producers ride the wave of growing seasons and demand. Excuse me. We've seen many of the most profitable shops in the state opening in our biggest cities to record-breaking sales. We've seen several interesting products launch into the fledgling market and now have a much better idea of what a high tolerance our customers have for experimentation in taste, buzz, and experience. We couldn't be more excited about where we've been and where we're going. And where is that exactly? In Washington, we've seen a renaissance in the craft look and feel of the marketplace, with many of the high-end recreational stores and products providing a heightened brand experience for the savvy consumer. You know, when I was buying cannabis in the illegal market, in the black market, which I did for many years, with a great deal of effort, by the way, I always considered myself a bit of a pot snob. I mean, I'd wait for a long time and then drive for hours to buy somebody's bag of weed that was full of seeds or that was the wrong color. It didn't have any smell to it. It's basically what we call a swag bag, right? I mean, not to be confused with a swag bag, not the stuff we all get, but a swag bag. It's swag weed. It's a dirt weed, or what we talked about in the 70s as ditch weed. Why is that? Because they think it was growing in the ditches? It does grow in the ditches. You know what grows in the ditches in a lot of places in the United States? Hemp. Oh, I got a pissed off story about hemp. I want to talk to Kevin Spittler about hemp. We'll get back to the story later. I used to call myself, that's why I interrupted the story, I used to call myself a pot snob. right? I mean, I didn't want the weed if it wasn't what I wanted. I was very picky about it. It needed to have certain components and traits that absolutely were a must to buying this product. Much as if you would buy a beer. You wouldn't buy a skunked beer, right? You wouldn't buy an old, stale, open, warm beer, right? You want that bastard to be crisp and cold and clean and refreshing. You're not going to get it if it's old and skunked or if it's open or if it's soured. I mean, you're just not going to get that experience. Same thing goes with marijuana. I mean, I don't even know that you would... because the other stuff is fine. I guess it'll do with a trick. I've probably turned down some stuff that would have been totally acceptable in my realm of, overall experience. But I just want to make sure, right? You're going to wait for a while. You're going to, take money that you'd rather probably spend somewhere else and go buy something like, some nice cannabis. You want to make sure that you're married to that bag for however long it's going to end. Hopefully it won't end tonight because you smoked it all and didn't get anything out of it, right? The only thing you got out of it was a couple of coughs and, a dry chest. So, I always consider myself a pot connoisseur. That's another term. I'm a connoisseur of marijuana. I like the terpenes. I like the flavonoids. I like all the other entourage effect that comes with whole cannabis. And you can't get it if it's old, if it's stale, if it's been in storage for a long time, if it was frozen and thawed and refrozen again and then sat around in the heat. I mean, these are all things that are going to degrade the cannabis over time. And just like you would, improperly kept wine or beer or any kind of alcohol for that matter. If you don't keep it properly, it's gonna lose its characteristics, its traits, the things that you savor as a connoisseur. Look, I'm not even reflecting about high. A high's not going to come for maybe 5 or 10 more minutes. This has got a beautiful aroma. Wow, listen, look, that bouquet is just amazing. And the flavor, you don't even need to. A good piece of cannabis, a good bit of cannabis, when smoked, especially in, say, a joint style where it's in a fresh paper, there's no other influence of taste or aroma. And you draw through that puppy dry. Now, you're not lighting it. You're not lighting it on fire. You're just pulling through there, getting that flavor, that aroma. There's nothing like it. And the spectrum of color on the palette for that experience is like the spectrum of color in a Polaroid camera. It's like a million different flavors. And it's all of the different species of cannabis that relate to those flavors. It's a wonderful, beautiful thing that God has given us, this palette of cannabis, sativa, indica, the various hybrids between them, the various flavors. I used to think that if you had like apple-flavored weed that somebody, and there's a method to do it, you can take stuff and artificially, infuse the cannabis with flavors and aromas that weren't natural. You'd have never got me to believe that somebody sat and crossbred these varieties until they got these flavors down pat. I mean, blue cheese cannabis. If you've ever opened up a fresh package of crumbled blue cheese and got that big waft, and it's distinctive. Nothing smells like blue cheese but blue cheese, and they've got cannabis that smells like blue cheese. It's got all those references, all those tonal notes. And I suppose, there's nothing special about blue cheese unless I like cheese. I'm a connoisseur. I love cheese. Blue cheese is I love it as a salad dressing. I love blue cheese crumble. But you give me that experience in cannabis, and now I've got two beautiful worlds to reflect on. And there's blueberry, and there's tangerine, and there's pineapple, and the list goes on and on and on. Think of the flavor palette. Think of this palette in your olfactory senses. All the things you can smell. It's beautiful. It's wonderful. And it should be something that you would look forward to as a connoisseur. But now, it's a craft, isn't it, according to this article? I think it's a great way of rebranding a classic thing. It's a craft experience. So when you think about it, this savvy consumer
connoisseur experience. This is just what you'd expect from the home of a high-end coffee, craft beer, and an innovative slow food and farm-to-table culinary scene, right? The intersection of our established craft food market with recreational marijuana is both a playground and, in some ways, a regional imperative. It's why Mirth Provisions' first product was beautifully packaged, sparkling tonic made with locally sourced natural ingredients. And it's why Western states are quickly growing into the established international hub for cannabis innovation, says the article. Another of the places we see this regional differentiation coming to fruition is in products that have the potential to change the conversation, right? To appeal to those of us who want to be happy and healthy, to those of us who want our cannabis consumption to fit our social habits and our lifestyle. The article says about 6 months ago, I started researching alternative delivery methods for consumers who want all the benefits of marijuana without the lifestyle and health implications of smoking it. This month, Mirth Provisions will be bringing some of those thoughts to market with our new sublingual product, Drift, which provides an incomparable experience that's a true first. A smokeless high that works 3 to 4 times faster and has more potency than anything else you can buy. Our unique 6-step Gravitine process delivers a reliable, discrete body high that you control with a push of your finger. Perfect for a concert, backyard barbecue, or happy hour. Drift is just one example of how the recreational marijuana market is becoming more responsive to the broad needs of many different kinds of consumers. Is the Pacific Northwest the region to bring the new level of cannabis craft thinking to the conversation? Inarguably, yes, says the article. Welcome to the new world, everybody. I think it's fascinating that you can look at things in different ways, right? It's all the way that you package it. I could take the same subject and give you the pros on one side, the cons on the other, and sell you either side. I mean, I'm skilled at that. I'm educated in that. I'm trained in that. From a practical standpoint, that's what I was taught how to do. And if I can do it, you can imagine how many other people else can do it. How many others have this same skill and capability? It's a skill set. Part of it's talent, part of it's skill. It's talent that needs to be honed. It needs to be, chiseled. But I'm telling you, there are lots of people that have chiseled this skill, many better than I. And I'm pretty damn good at it, I must say. Given the right tools and implements, I can craft you anything in the audio and video world that would just blow your mind. And I'm just saying that in the broader scheme of things, if you sit down and look at a subject like cannabis, I could be hired away by the people that do the, I can't be because I would never do it. It doesn't fit my moral standards. Because I think that prohibition of any substance that you can ingest in this country is immoral. Why is it immoral? Because the detriments of your intended policy, the unintended consequences of your policy are worse than the problem you're trying to cure with said policy. That's why. And so many people see this now. But it's only because of people of this mind, people of the mind of, look, let's peel away the rhetoric and get down to the truth of the business. Let's look beyond the prohibition messaging. Let's look beyond the propaganda. Let's just cut to the chase. What's the truth about this subject? It's why this whole show exists in the first place, is to give you the truth about what's going on in society around cannabis. Because it's all hogwash up until you get to the truth of it. All of it. Hardly any of the rhetoric being pushed by these traditional prohibitionists who've been fed this propaganda for years, decades, their entire lives, have no experience with said material. This is just like the kid, the 2-year-old kid who's like, I'm not going to eat these green beans. Nah, I don't want
want the green beans. No, the green beans. Don't make, you're in the high chair. No, I don't want the green beans. Well, look, why don't you like the green beans? I just don't like them. Well, why don't you like them? Well, because they're green beans. I don't like green beans. But why don't you like them? Have you ever tried green beans? No, they're gross. I would never try the green beans. They're gross. Well, why do you think they're gross? You've never ever tried them. You see, fear is a primal thing, isn't it? It's easy to get rise out of fear. If I can sell you fear, I can move mountains with your motivation, can't I? And that's what they did with this prohibitionist messaging. That little kid, if he ever ate the damn green beans, might like them. Might say, you know what, that's my favorite new vegetable. I like the green beans. But he's got this image in his head, for whatever reason, that the green beans are awful and that he should never consume them. And that's what I'm saying about these people who've been given this prohibitionist message. They've been beaten over the head with this mantra. No, drugs, bad. It may as well be the case if you can't handle the subject. You can't handle the truth, says Jack Nicholson. It's easy to use that fear. Very easy to use that fear to motivate these people into pigeonholing politics in this space. You can't keep doing it forever, can you? Especially when the fear is being eroded away by practical experience, by knowing what's happening with the neighbor, by being educated about the truth, by listening to content like this, where we get past the rhetoric and down to the bone about what this is and what this is not. So many people have finally come to the realization that cannabis is not the devil's lettuce, that it's proliferating across the country, and the people in the prohibitionist camp are frightened. They're scared shitless, these guys, the ones that don't already know the truth. They're going to rise up. They're going to try and take your cannabis policy if you're doing one of these initiatives across the country. And even if you're not, if the pressure of doing one of these initiatives, it's moving the legislature. See, they're motivated by fear as well. Let's stop making people afraid, and let's start making them familiar with what's right in front of them. It's simple and easy to do.
You're getting the full melt.
Get ready, let's go. Hey, na, 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 na. Oh, hey, now, let's go. Yeah, I've got style. I'll make it wild. I'll change it up and switch it up so versatile. I'll be myself, and I'm gonna let everybody know.
We have the latest styles to mix it and mash it. So make it your own and bend the trend. JCPenney. When it fits, you feel it. During the JCPenney Back to School Hot Sale, get an extra $10 off when you spend $25 or more with coupon. Nike, Converse, Levi's, and other exclusions apply.
What's up with these things, Victor?
We decided to give ourselves stickers for each feature we release. We read about 10,000 suggestions a week to create features that, as traders, we'd want to use.
10,000 suggestions? Who reads all of those?
He does.
For all the confidence you need, TD Ameritrade, you got this.
Don't miss the first ever cannabis competition this year as the prize contest moved from Amsterdam to Jamaica. That's right, it's all Jamaican fun now with the big cup competition in Negril this November. Get your best travel accommodations now at JamaicaPot.com. Pack your beach bong and swimsuit and party down at the warm sandy beaches of Negril, Jamaica for the first ever big cannabis event this year. Do it in style or come have fun on a budget. Best travel prices now at JamaicaPot.com. That's JamaicaPot.com.
If you're like us, your pets aren't just animals. They're members of your family. Pet Pain CBD hemp oil drops are great for aging as well as active dogs and cats. Some people are apprehensive about hemp treatments for pets. They ask us, what are you smoking? Absolutely nothing, and neither will your pet. Like other hemp-based products for humans, the allure is all of the benefits of cannabis without any of the high. The CBD oil has shown to rejuvenate the bones, joints, brain, stomach, eyes, and heart. And the drops contain absolutely no corn, wheat, soy, artificial colors and flavors, or preservatives. Pick some up today. Visit petpain.com. or ask for Pet Pain at your local pet store. PetPain.com. CBD relief for your pet.
We asked people to tell us something that happened in their past and something that might happen in their future. The good things were put on yellow magnets and the bad ones on blue. The results show the past was a pretty even mix of good and bad, yet the future was almost all good things. Now that you've seen the results of this experiment, what does it mean to you?
We all want to think about positive stuff.
Realistically, there will be downtimes.
It's great to think optimistically, but let's plan for whatever the future might bring.
Prudential, bring your challenges.
It's the Full Melt Radio Show.
Radio show.
Okay, so I thought this was a great story, this business about dispensaries offering free marijuana. That's right, I said free the weed to Valley fire victims in Northern California. You know, there are a number of people who I've found over my experience in this industry in the past, say 6 years or so, that are really expert at doing this. And one of those guys is Mr. Kevin Spittler of the Toledo Hemp Center. Now, you have to understand that Kevin owned, in Kalamazoo, Michigan, a dispensary called the Med Joint. And so he was good at doing this out there, too. He would do things that benefited the community and then get publicity for it and the notoriety for being a good community member, a good citizen, right? Doing the charitable thing, raising money for muscular dystrophy all year long and then presenting that check on television. God rest the Muscular Dystrophy Association's Muscular Dystrophy Telethon. It is dead. Every year since I grew up, for the past 40-some years, excluding this year on Labor Day, the Muscular Dystrophy Telethon ran. The greed, power, and corruption of corporate America has taken that away. You have to understand. I have to divert for a second because I want to point something out for just one moment, if you'll bear with me. You know how on days where there are no television productions, no content, no TV content on holidays. You ever notice that? When you get to a holiday weekend, television is void of anything worth a damn. It's all full of repeats and old material. You know what it is? It's all stuff they don't have to pay royalties for, or they've already paid for that is recycling, or they've got long-term rights to, or there's nobody watching television or listening to the radio during these holiday weekends. You get the 3-day holiday federal weekend, Christmas, New Year's, Thanksgiving, Labor Day, Memorial Day, etc. When you have these holidays, you'll notice that the television cycle goes blank, and the reason is nobody's home watching TV. They're all off doing their family vacation stuff, right? Everybody plans for this. And this is one of the reasons why this time during Labor Day was available to give away, to donate, because they're not making any money anyways. It's free programming. It's live programming. And they would all carry it, so nobody had a choice to tune out. Every single network, because there weren't, when this began, there was only CBS, NBC, ABC. Fox wasn't even around. And they thought the market was saturated. Like when Fox was created, they thought, there's no room for another network. You guys are going to fail. It never happened, did it? Rupert Murdoch was pretty smart about the way he positioned Fox. My point is this. They stopped giving away that television time as non-lucrative as it was. It was the cheapest time. It was the most available time. They couldn't sell this time. This is why they put all that crap programming on. Rather than the crap programming, they put on this for a good cause, muscular dystrophy. Why did they take it off? They all got together and colluded and said, we can still make a little bit of money. Why we got to give it all away? We gave the whole day away. Why do we got to do that? Well, why not? Weren't you getting a good write-off for that? Did you finally figure out a way to make a couple more dollars than your write-off for the muscular dystrophy giveaway was? I don't get it. Where's your philanthropy, broadcasters? Where did it go? That's what I want to know. I'm sorry, I got off the soapbox about the muscular dystrophy disappearing. It makes me mad. Part of what your job in this country is, as good journalists, as good stewards of our airwaves, is to provide some public service, aside from entertainment programming filled with commercial messaging. You must bring forward, according to the FCC, something that provides community support, something that gives the community a sense of involvement. It needs to be a benefit to the community. You used to do that stuff. You used to do it with, when I was growing up, they used to have, if people would give opinions during the news, there'd be, they have an opinion piece, like they got in the paper, you got the opine section. It's all opinion. It's not news, it's somebody's point of view. And so they would have somebody on, like either a newscaster or somebody that came in and said, hey, I want to give my point of view. They let them do their point of view. And then they would give somebody else opportunity to voice opposition to that. Hey, here's the other side to that coin. They stopped doing that altogether. It's nonsense. Broadcasters, pull up your britches and do something good to support the people of this country. They gave you a damn set of airwaves and all the electronics and the laws that go around them. You better start contributing back instead of just raping the country for its cash. Okay, I'm done with that. I promise. So I think it's really smart when these guys do stuff like this. Dispensaries offering free marijuana to Valley Fire victims in Northern California. Here's the article reported September 29th. That, I believe, is today. Medical marijuana dispensaries in Northern California are giving patients affected. This is dispensaries, plural. It's not just one. Giving patients affected by a hugely destructive wildfire up to $200 in free cannabis per patient for the next week. Through Thursday, October 7th, two marijuana-related product companies, Care by Design and Absolute Extracts, are offering free products at 5 dispensaries in San Francisco, Santa Rosa, Sebastopol, and Lake counties. The companies said in a joint statement. The companies produced cannabis oil, sprays, and vaporizing cartridges, among other products. Patients eligible for the free products must have a prescription and home address in Cobb, Kellysville, Middletown, or Hidden Valley Lake, among the hardest hit communities over the last 3 weeks, where the Valley Fire has ripped through 118 square miles, destroying nearly 2,000 homes and claiming 4 lives. The two companies now donating $20,000 worth of marijuana-related items, and all they said, the offer began last Thursday. This disaster happened in our own backyards. As a company that prides itself on putting patient needs first, we felt there was no better time to reach out and help our neighbors in their time of need, the statement said. The Valley Fire is one of the worst in the state's history and is one of 2 that devastated California's Calaveras counties. Devastated California communities in September. In a couple of counties, the Butte Fire has destroyed 475 homes, killing 2 people and burning through nearly 71,000 acres since it started on September 9th. The 2 blazes are nearly fully contained. It's really important to give back. Please give back. Karma's a funny thing, And there's nothing wrong with doing a good deed and getting something good for it. And that's what this is. I mean, I wouldn't be telling you about this story. I wouldn't have mentioned these dispensaries. I wouldn't have mentioned these organizations if it weren't for the fact that this is news. It's not often you find people giving away free weed in the news. I mean, they'd like to do it more in some places. They've stopped people from giving away free weed. It's ridiculous practice, I think. There's obviously patients in these areas. California's been a long time a medical marijuana state. And obviously, if your house has been burned down, if you had a garden growing, it's gone. If you had anything out of that garden you could use as medicine, it's gone. If you're getting normal prescriptions to the doctor and you're going to the pharmacy to get them and you've had a house fire and you can account for that, you can go back to the doctor and say, look, all my meds are gone. Everything that you prescribed to me, it's all gone. You can get them re-prescribed. You can have the pharmacy refill them. There's a method, there's a process, there's a system to handle those incidences, even for the most restricted of drugs. You can account for the fact that they're gone. I mean, my house is burnt down. It's public record. Everything around me for miles is burnt. I don't have any weed. Can I get some medicine, please? You could go back to the pharmacy and get your regular opiates or whatever else you're getting from the doctor through the pharmacy. But what about your marijuana? And there's no insurance to cover the marijuana. You got to dig out of your pocket for that yourself, and you're busy right now getting food and clothes and stuff like that, right? It's an emergency. What about my weed? I might not be able to control my appetite issue, or I might not be able to control my pain issue, or I might have a severe problem with sleeping, or I might have a post-traumatic stress issue, or I could have, there's a whole host of things that people use cannabis for that are no longer able to be controlled because the medicine is gone. These people have come by and said, no, don't worry about that. I know you're in distress. We know your family is in an emergency mode. Here's a couple $100 worth of cannabis. Use it as necessary. Bring your prescription and show us your travesty. We will provide some salve. We'll give you some relief. We'll help you out. This is philanthropy. This is charity. This is good for society. Why would it be negative in any way? I'll give you an example of how it could be negative. Do we have enough time? I don't think we have enough time. I'm going to have to come back and tell you about it. And I'm going to squeeze two stories together, so, I don't know. I just look. I just got to look. Yeah, because we only got seconds left before the break. And I'd hate to start a story now, but I want to tell you what we'll cover when we come back, because there's only about, less than 10 minutes left in the story, in the show after the last commercial break. So I wanted to tell you about Kevin Spittler at the Toledo Hemp Center. Something, I saw a Facebook post from Kevin yesterday that dropped my jaw. And I'll tell you, it's that the fire department is hosting a Fire Buddy Parade, right? It's the fire department putting on, it's a public-sponsored parade in downtown Toledo. Mr. Spittler has the Toledo Hemp Center, a long-established legal business selling hemp products and hemp. The problem is that Mr. Spittler has been told he does not have permission to be in the public parade held by the Toledo Fire Department. The hell is going on down there, Toledo? It's a public parade sponsored by the public. How can you deny him access? He's a business downtown.
You're getting the full melt.
Young students are our future. They're eager to learn, eager to succeed, eager to make the world a better place. And they want to make it to school safely. Share the road, take care when passing, and always leave 3 feet between you and people on bikes. Bikes are legal road vehicles. We're all drivers.
Imagine a world where patients can use marijuana like any other medicine. The Marijuana Patients Organization challenges the status quo by helping our neighbors to enjoy a better quality of life. Visit the MPO at marijuanapatients.org and enjoy informative articles, engaging debates, and information about treatments, doctors, and dispensaries in your area. Over 50,000 people have registered at marijuanapatients.org since 2010. Join us at the Marijuana Patients Organization today, marijuanapatients.org.
Hey, it's Steve Green for the Sweet Leaf in Flint, because now getting safe access to medical cannabis patients in Flint, Michigan is never more welcoming. Presenting the Sweet Leaf, a brand new patient experience bringing 12 carefully selected caregivers housed in 9 separate offices to distinctly assist you with their knowledge and reputation for excellent patient care. Classes and training coming soon in the large community room. Check it out in person, 400 South Door Highway, or call 810-259-2571. The Sweet Leaf Center in Flint, 810-259-2571.
If you're like us, your pets aren't just animals. They're members of your family. Pet Pain CBD Hemp Oil Drops are great for aging as well as active dogs and cats. Some people are apprehensive about hemp treatments for pets. They ask us, what are you smoking? Absolutely nothing, and neither will your pet. Like other hemp-based products for humans, the allure is all of the benefits of cannabis without any of the high. The CBD oil has shown to rejuvenate the bones, joints, brain, stomach, eyes, and heart. And the drops contain absolutely no corn, wheat, soy, artificial colors and flavors, or preservatives. Pick some up today. Visit petpain.com or ask for Pet Pain at your local pet store. Petpain.com. CBD relief for your pet.
Got something to hide? Canalock offers discreet and effective storage solutions that destroy odor, so nobody knows. Canalock is a patented charcoal-activated bag that discreetly stores your marijuana. Canalock is made from the same material as military chemical warfare suits. Get yours at Canalock.com. Visit Canalock.com to learn more about no-smell technology.
What's up with these things, Victor?
We decided to give ourselves stickers for each feature we release. We read about 10,000 suggestions a week to create features that, as traders, we'd want to use.
10,000 suggestions? Who reads all of those?
He does.
For all the confidence you need, TD Ameritrade. You got this.
It's the Full Melt Radio Show.
I wish I found some better sounds no one's ever heard. I wish I had a better voice that sang some better words. I wish I found some chords in an order.
Oh, some funny stuff just happened. Funny stuff that happens during the commercial break. God, I wish I could do a whole story on funny shit that happens during the commercial break. I don't know if I can share this with you. It's just a little over the line. I'm just telling you. It's not something. Okay, I'll tell you what it is. I won't say who it's about, but I'll tell you what it is. So there's I'm running out of time. I have no time for this story, but I'm going to squeeze it in. So you ever been in an awkward situation? You ever been in like a dating site or a dating app where you've seen, somebody you know or somebody that looks like trolling for sex on a mobile app? I just sent somebody a picture of somebody that looks like somebody else. I see it all the time. They got dead ringers. I mean, it's not the person you think of, but if you look at them, you're like, oh my God. Oh, okay, that's not. Sure? Yeah, that's not them. Sometimes it's funny. Anyway, so I think when you're looking at that thing about Toledo, you gotta have your head on your shoulders square. The guy there in Toledo at the fire department, according to the post that I saw by Mr. Spittler on the Facebook yesterday, or the day before, it might have been the day before, said, look, we're not allowed. The bigwigs at the fire department said that we're too much like medical marijuana, and we don't want to promote that, so we're not going to let you in our parade. I advised Mr. Spittler to contact the city attorney's office and threaten to sue. He is a legitimate, legal, established business, and he needs not have his name furthered and mired in the prohibitionist messaging by the damn fire department, for crying out loud. Go put out some frickin' fires and stop worrying about his stupid hemp business. I mean, seriously, if it was my business, if I was Kevin Spittler, I'd be down there lighting a fire at the fire department is what I'd be doing. Be down there at the city, attorney's office saying, look, you can't allow this to happen. Since when did he become the mouthpiece for Toledo? Since when did he get to filter what businesses are allowed to be in a public parade? It's not like the gay parade it's not like the gay parade. It's not like New York City and your the St. Patrick's Day parade that's sponsored by the church. It's not stepping on religious freedom or principle. I mean, that parade is put on by a religious organization, isn't it? Or at least it's put on by the St. Patrick's people. I don't know. Maybe I'm talking out of my ass. All I know is that they don't allow the gays in there. They don't allow them. Hang on a second. I got to take this. Say, Liz. I'm still on the air. Let me call you back in a minute. Okay. I'll see you in a bit. All right. I'm on the air. I got to go. So, the people who call me during the show, I promised I would put her, if I get calls on the air from now on, I'm putting them on the air. She's coming to get her bag. I borrowed her car. She left her bag in the car. Look, so running out of time. I just think that you can't do that kind of crap. You can't edit the public. I don't care what your position is on some political topic. If you're a public organization, such as the Toledo Fire Department, it's publicly funded. It is like a utility to some extent, isn't it? You got to have police and fire. The fire department has no business interjecting about social issues, policy. Go put out some damn fires. Shut the hell up. No, hairs on the back of my neck raised up over these guys speaking out of turn. Shut the hell up. Get back in line. That's what I got to say to you. What else is going on? So this other thing, this last thing I got for you. Matt Abel, famed attorney and advocate for marijuana in Michigan, was in the news today. Let me see. Got to see if I can find it here, because it wasn't in the top 10 stories. I already went through those with you. Let's look at top 20 stories. Is he in top 20? It's about Detroit trying to put together. No, it's not even in the top 20. It's got to make the top 30. You'd think that there's the top 30 pot stories. There is. There's probably a top 40. PA House, Big California. Here we go. How legal are Detroit's marijuana dispensaries? This is fascinating. There is a link on the Facebook page to this story. I know for sure it's on my own profile. If you can find my profile page, Steve Green. It's an avatar. You can tell it's the right me because it's an avatar with a goatee. No, right now it's not. I took that down for cancer awareness. October's Cancer Awareness Month. Look for the pink ribbon. That's me. Sorry. I usually have the avatar up. Stephen talks. This is Stephen. What is this? I don't know the guys. I guess I got to look down here. It doesn't even say. This is WDET. WDET is a public radio in the Detroit area. There's a whole link on there. I put a SoundCloud link to some audio from this radio program where they discuss this issue in great detail. I think that it's fascinating that Detroit's deciding to be one of these outlying communities. They pretty much had no choice in the matter. If Ann Arbor and Flint are doing it already, Detroit, once they get their shit together down there from being all dispelled from the bankruptcy and et cetera, getting their crap reorganized, tearing down the houses that are all burnt up, all that stuff, getting their ducks in a row. They're finally talking seriously about Councilman Jim Tate, talking about how to craft rules around the dispensary issue. Dispensaries are considered illegal in this state, according to the Attorney General. He's full of shit. Sorry, I can say that on this show. It's my own show. I'll say he's full of shit. You are full of shit, Bill Schuette. Schuette's full of shit. 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 It's really easy to say. I got no tang tungled on that. Dispensaries in Detroit, while legal, operate in a legal gray area. The majority of dispensaries are operating outside the scope of the Michigan Medical Marijuana Act, Tate says. The Marijuana Act. The dispensary debate could have been avoided entirely if the Medical Marijuana Act was written better, says Matt Abel. The law was written generally enough that dispensaries could have been legal, he says. And he's right. If you had an attorney general willing to do his damn job, instead of buck the will of the people and enforce laws rather than find ways to whittle them down to what your opinion is, you bastard. You're a bastard, Attorney General Bill Schuette. Abel says the law was written generally enough that dispensaries could have been legal, and he's absolutely right. Jobs. Dispensaries can be benefiting the community greatly when working within the legal limits, says Abel. Structured properly, dispensaries can provide employment. They can bring construction jobs, he says. There's a lot more conversation. It's a 26-minute conversation from on this program at WDET. It's at WDET.org. The guy's name is Stephen. I don't know his last name. It doesn't say here in the article. Detroit. Stephen Henderson, it does say. So the program is called Detroit Today. Stephen Henderson, WDET. I encourage you to click on the link. I would play it for you, but it is a 26-minute segment. It is commercial-free. It is public radio. Thank you, Stephen, for doing this subject. I'm sorry that I butchered your story with regards to name. If you get a chance to click on that and listen, I think that even if you're not in the Detroit area, you don't care about dispensaries in Michigan. The discussion that's being had is a universal one. It's the same discussion being had across America in any place that is considering crafting legislation, rules, regulations, ordinances around the topic of medical marijuana dispensaries. It's an old hat argument. But it's important to understand from the standpoint of what does it mean? What does it not mean? What's important? What works? What doesn't work? I mean, this is an important conversation. The pros, the cons, on the link on my Facebook page. Look for it. It is a SoundCloud link. Back tomorrow with more discussion on the rules, lifestyle, and substance of cannabis, hemp, and medical marijuana in America.
The Full Melt Show is a production of TFM Media.